Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and I want to say Shalom to Akmanakwat out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. Excuse me, and this one's titled, Bugged Out Stud says Hebrew Israelites make the black community look bad, right? Bugged Out Stud says Hebrew Israelites make the black community look bad. And you can see we got it right here, and it's from this this stud Jumanji Vaughn, but I guess Vaughn Bree. All right, and you can see Pro Fighter, you know, all these different, you know, wacky tacky shit, right? All this shit, right? As you can just see, just things like this, right? This is her, this is it, right? So, and we'll go through it. There's a bunch of horrible shit. There's just a bunch of shit, you know, some bugged out shit. Notably this video, right? And I came across, I just typed in Hebrew Israelites into Instagram, and you know, it came up, and I said, all right, let's go ahead and check it out. And this is, you know, I found a couple videos, but this is the one I want to touch on today. And well, let's go ahead and play it, and you'll hear, we'll pause it as we go, and, you know, rebuke as we see fit. And as a matter of fact, I'd like to be able to, if I could just find the video. I don't know when the video was actually made. It's July 9th, so it probably quite some time ago. But I'd like to have it over here so I can have it full screen. But she posts quite frequently. So let's see. October. Yeah, see, she posts way too damn much, so we probably won't be able to do anything with it. But at least we got it right here. All right, so here you go. We're gonna go ahead and let it rip.
The Hebrew Israelites piss me the fuck off. I mean, you guys have enough, man. You have enough numbers to start actually making change, but y'all preaching hate. Like I was talking to this Chinese lady, right? And she was like, well, what about the Hebrew Israelites? They're racist. I'm like, we can't be racist because we've never stopped your race from succeeding. There's a Chinatown in every city. But she was like, listen to them. So I go, she sends me a link, and I listen to this link, and in this video, the Hebrew Israelites are like, deaf to the Chinese, deaf to the Germans, deaf to the white. We gonna do to the white man what they did to us. It's like, no.
Yes. All right, let's go and actually get that. All right, first of all, there's a couple I want to get. We'll get that one. We'll go and get that one. We'll get that one. All right, we'll get another one. All right, I got 3 right here. All right, no, they can't do what was done unto them. No, you know, here's another one. All right, first of all, this is dealing with Babylon, but just getting this to show you about, not necessarily a recompense. Yeah, it is essentially a recompense. Recompense. Make amends to someone for loss or harm suffered. Compensate. Okay, so in Revelation 18:6-8, it talks about Babylon, which is America. It says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled to her, let me start over. In the cup which she hath filled to, keep on saying filled twice. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. Excuse me. So, you know, this place, America, is going to get a payback. All right. I bet you don't believe that either. All right. Because you go on to talk about building and, you know, why don't you build a community or something? No. right? Well, if this place is going to be completely destroyed, and it will be completely destroyed, what's the purpose of building? All right, this place is going to be completely destroyed. All right, it says reward her even as she rewards you. This place is going to be torn down, torn apart, all right, by the Lord. But you don't believe that, though. All right, you don't believe that, though. And you're over here again, you say, no, we're going to do what the Edomites did. No, we're not going to necessarily do exactly what the Edomites did unto us, unto them, all right, because they did a lot of twisted, sadistic shit, all right, that we're not going to do. We're not going to do the buck breaking, all right, we're not going to be doing any of the weird homosexuality bullshit, all right, we're not going to be feeding them unclean animals, all right, we're not going to be doing any of that shit, all right, we're not going to be committing adultery, all right, we're not going to be doing that. Okay, so no, we're not going to do everything, but as far as captivity goes and having them as slaves, yes, that is within the Bible. We can get Revelation 13 and 10. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. All right, and a lot of people aren't going to understand, well, maybe it already happened. It didn't happen. Okay, it hasn't happened yet. Okay. Now, we know that in some capacities, which you would say so-called white people have gone to everybody mentions the Irish, all right? But the original Irish, mind you, the original Irish, all right, the original Scots in that area, all right, were Israelites because they were Moors. They were Moorish people, all right? Moors. The Moors were a dark-skinned people. You can go look up Moor people, okay? Moors, they say medieval Muslim inhabitants of North Africa, all right, and Iberia. Okay, some say they were Spain, some say they were African, some, and then they mention that as being Muslims. They weren't Muslims. Not all of them were Muslims. Some might have been Muslims, but not all of them were Muslims. All right, that's where they try to perpetuate Jake never being in rulership. All right, so they have to say, oh, it was, they're African, North African or something, or they were, Ethiopian, or, they were Muslim or anything, right? It says population of Al-Andalus, now Spain and Portugal. All right, and this person says the Moors were not black. All right, but they were. All right, they were. All right, they were black. Okay, it's just the same thing with the Bible. How, if you go and look up people in the Bible, if you go and look up Paul Bible, he's going to be white. All right, you can go and look up James Bible, he's going to be white. You can go and look up, of course, Jesus, all right, going to be white. All right, you can look up David Bible, he's going to be white. All right, they're all going to be white. All right, now, were the people of that time pale and leprous of skin? No, they weren't. All right, but when you look them up, that's what you're going to see. All right, leprous people. All right, that's what you're going to see. All right, when you look up, the only one they'll give you, and half the time when you look up Simeon, this is how they portray Simeon. Okay? This is how they portray Simeon. Okay? But if we go and we look it up, let's see. Acts 13 and 1. As a matter of fact, actually, oh, here it was. Oh, no, that's not it. Because this has the interlinear. All right. This is in the Greek. Now you can see it's going to say right here. We'll read the whole scripture first. It says, Acts 13 and 1, it says, now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger. This says Niger. No, it says Niger. We're going to show you that. It says, and Lucius of Cyrene and Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch and Saul. So you're going to go down here. So Simeon was called Niger. Okay, let's go and play it.
Strong's G 3526. Niger.
All right. Go and call someone on the street that, being leprous, all right, and see what happens, all right? Now, what does it mean? Black. Why was he called black? Well, you had dark hair or something, or you wore a dark garment, or, something, all right? Something, it had to have been something like that. No. It's because he was dark-skinned, all right? Dark skin. Now, if you go and look up this word here, okay, it means black, all right? It also means, right here, significance. The name indicated his dark complexion or possibly African heritage. Differentiate. He wasn't African, all right? It didn't differentiate him. I said, see, it made him differ. It didn't make him differ, all right? It didn't make him differ, all right? You can go and get, and Esau came out red all over. Well, if he was that color, all right, and we know that Esau's red, which is really a pale color, all right? Red skin. All right. Who are you going to see? Why don't any Jakes come up? Why, when I type in red skin, why don't any Jakes come up? It's all white people, all right, with eczema or rosacea or skin issues, all right? And mind you, this skin in general right here is already red. You can see it's pink, all right? It's a pinkish tone, all right? And pink is a derivative of red, okay? It's a derivative of red. You don't see any Jakes suffering from this, all right? You have this little bit of dark skin, but this is something completely different. This is completely different than what these guys are going through. That is not this. This is not this. Okay? So, you can go on and see it's all just it's all Edomites. Okay? They're the red ones. So they were called out for being red. Or when let's go from we'll go from verse 6. All right, with Moses, all right. It says, Exodus 4 and 6, it says, and the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thine hand into thy bosom, or bosom, and he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. All right, so how would his hand have been that color? All right, why would it have been, if his hand was white, why would it have been such, if, here it is, I'm pretty pale, so if I took my hand out, and we're not going to get into that because, not everybody that looks like a so-called black person is a Jake, and not everybody that looks like a so-called white person is an Edomite. That's a topic for another day that you're probably not going to understand anyway, because first of all, you're bugged out and you're a stud. You're completely gone off. But if being me with my hand, with my leper skin, all right, if I took it out of my pocket and it was very white, I mean, it would be moderately shocking. All right, like, wow, what's going on? Why is my hand a little bit whiter than it normally is? But if I was dark skin, all right, or even light skin brown, all right, I'd be like, what the fuck just happened? Whoa, right? If you were had a very melanated skin and all of a sudden your hand's white, yeah, that would be scary. But if you're already pretty much pale and your hand becomes a little pale, you'd be like, oh, I probably should get that checked out. It's not going to be as alarming as if all of your melanin was just ripped out your skin. Okay, so in verse 7, it'll still be alarming to an extent. You'll be like, what's going on? I need to check that out. I might have a health condition, but it's not going to be like, it'd be like the difference if here it was, you as a leprous person, now you have a dark skin hand. You're like, what the fuck? What just happened? I need to go and get that checked immediately, right? Because that's something extreme, all right? It's not as less extreme as, your hand changing a shade or two. It's like 10 shades different. That would be alarming. In verse 7, it says, and he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. So he had a melanated hand, put it into his bosom. It came out as pale leprous, as some people would say white. All right. And he put it back in, and it was returned like his flesh was before. All right. Again, showing you that, the Lord, this is when the Lord was showing his miracles to Moses, right? Saying, don't doubt me. Look at all these things I could do, right? Don't worry about it. I've got you, right? So, again, a factual, error on your part that those things aren't going to happen, Okay, so, and mind you, so, and we went into talking about Ireland and the original Irish people and so on and so forth. But Revelation 13:10, here's another one. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. We already got that one, but I got it again. What I meant to get was Psalms 2 and 9. It says, we got to start from 8. It says, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth, for thy possession. Which also calls into question, if everyone's being saved, how is this going to happen? All right, if all nations can be saved, how is this going to happen? All right, again, a misunderstanding of the Bible, okay, because you don't have the Holy Spirit dealing with you. In verse 9, it says, thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. So there you go. There you go. It's as simple as that. All right. Yes, the heathens are going into captivity. The Edomites are going into captivity. Yes. Isaiah 14:2, it says, we got to start from verse 1. It says, Isaiah 14:1, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. Why doesn't it say choose everyone? Okay. It says, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And I got another lesson in here where there's another video where a guy's trying to debate some Hebrew Israelites. I don't know what camp they're from, but, about how, everybody can be saved, and that's just not the case, all right? If you go to the scripture, the main one that they use about being grafted in, it says is able to graft them in again, all right? And it talks about them being a part of the original branch, all right? And if they fell off, they can be grafted in again, okay? That's how it works. If I'm of an orange tree, all right, and my branch falls off because of a high wind, all right, and I snap off, I can be grafted on again to that. You can't take me as an orange branch, all right, and try to graft me in to a blueberry bush. It ain't gonna work, all right? It's just not gonna work. That's not how things go, okay? Neither can you take a blueberry bush and graft it into an orange tree, okay? So, no, they're two separate things, all right? But if one was to fall off, all right, you could put that clipping of that blueberry bush back on the blueberry bush, and it'll grow back in. And if you do the same thing with the orange, it'll grow back in, right? If you do it right. So what's being said there is, if they, as it says, if they abide not still in unbelief, all right, the Lord is able to graft them in again. All right, again means once more, mind you. If you look up the word again, it means another time, once more. Okay, so you'd already had to been there before, all right, to do it again. All right, I can't say, I'm going to be a millionaire again, unless I was a millionaire at one point of time, and then I lost it. All right, so there you go. Isaiah 14:1, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. It's a handmaid. A handmaid traditionally means a female servant or attendant. Okay? Handmaid. The definition. Alright? A female servant. Okay? What is a servant? So servants and handmaids. What is a servant?
Servant.
Okay? A person who performs duties for others, especially a person employed in a house on domestic duties or as a personal attendant. It also means slave. Alright? That should be in here. Yep. Slave.
Slave.
Okay, there you go. A person who is forced to work for and obey another and is considered to be their property. Okay, so and mind you, it is a slave because remember it says, I shall give you them, and you shall possess them, right? As a possession, all right? That's as ownership. That's a slave, all right? Them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. It's point blank period, man. So yes, no, yes. You're over here, getting all worked up, trying to, argue about some things you don't know about. And that's the problem with you not only you heathens, but you 2/3 Jakes. You don't know, all right? You don't know. So this is Isaiah 14:1 and 2 in the Amp Bible. It says, for the Lord will have compassion on Jacob, the captives in Babylon, and will again choose Israel, and will set settle them in their own land, foreigners, Gentiles. There you go. And there's two different type of Gentiles, mind you. You have the Gentiles that are Israelites scattered abroad and are behaving like unto a foreign nation, and you have the ones that are actually foreign nations, right? It says foreigners, Gentiles, will join them as proselytes. It says as proselyte. What does that mean? All right. Now it says a person who has been converted from one opinion or religion or party to another. A convert. Wrong. It's the first time I've seen the Bible go off. It says, and will attach themselves to the house of Jacob, Israel. The peoples will take them along and bring them to their own place, Judea, Israel. It says, and the house of Israel will possess them as an inheritance in the land of the Lord as male and female servants, and will take captive those who captives they have been, and they will rule over their former oppressors. So it goes off a bit there. All right, it goes off a bit there. It's going to be in Israel. All right, it's going to be in the kingdom of Yahweh Shemiah Shai, and also they're not going to be proselytes. All right, I mean, in a way, yes, and in a way, no. All right, they're going to be. It says someone who's outside of the Jewish community that relocates to the land of Israel and adopt either fully or partially the observance of mitzvot and the practice of Judaism. I mean, to an extent, partially. All right, they're going to be essentially like as proselytes. Because I mean, it's going to be, they're going to be under servitude though. They're going to be forced, all right, to be converted. Okay. And what I mean by that is they're not going to be out here. It is if they're a Ammonite or a Moabite, they're not going to be able to be worshiping Buddha. All right, they're going to be forced to worship Yahweh Shemiah Shai. So in a way, you know, but it's not. It's more of a forced proselytization. All right, it's not something that they do willingly. Okay, and it's not. They're not made Israelites. All right, they're not really converted to being Israelites. They're not ever going to be Israelites. They're just worshiping the power of Israel. Okay, if that makes sense. So, you know, again, had to explain that. But going on, let's see what else she has to say.
What? Be real here.
We are.
Y'all have enough men. Do something productive. Build in the community.
You said do something productive. What is productive?
Productive.
All right. It says producing or able to produce large amounts of goods or other commodities. Let's ask ChatGPT a question. What would the Lord consider being productive? And the big one should be doing the work in the will of the Father. All right. Faithfulness to Yahweh. Productivity starts with living in a right relationship with Yahweh, trusting Him, obeying His commands, and putting Him first. That's all we need, right? This is loving and serving with others, doing good. The main thing is, you know, doing the work in the will of the Lord. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Scripture comes to mind. I mean, Romans 12 and 2 is good. We'll get that because we were going to get that anyway because of the topic, all right, at hand. Okay, let's get it. Here we go. This is great. The verse 1 really is what we're looking for. Okay, what being productive is. Well, let's get another one. All right, we'll get this one as well. So we'll get this one first. This is John 21 and 15. All right, you want to know what being productive is? Here it is. It says, so when they had dined, Yahushua said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my lambs. John 21:16, he saith to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. John 21:17, he saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things, thou knowest that I love thee. Yahushua said unto him, Feed my sheep. What does that mean? All right, teach, preach, do what you're supposed to be doing as a man, right? Feed my sheep. Go and tend to the flock. All right, preach, teach. All right, be instant in season, out of season. All right, several scriptures. All right, that's what it's talking about. Okay, that's productive, and that's what we're doing. Okay, you see the brothers on the highways and byways, you see the brothers on YouTube, you see the brothers on Instagram, you see the brothers on TikTok. All right, and I say brothers, and there's some brothers that are doing the right thing. All right, over there. So that's how it goes. Romans 12:1, it says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. That's our reasonable service. That's what we should be doing, right? Verse 2, it says, And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh. Boom, bam, there you go. So that's what being productive is. Now, what's her idea of being productive? Building communities. Let's hear it.
Create community centers outside of the church. And then y'all claim to be Moors, but y'all not even Muslims.
Right? Again, you claim to be Moors, y'all not even Muslims. Again, you're listening to what the white man told you. All right? You're listening to what the white man told you. Okay? You're not looking deeper into history. You don't even know about the Hebrews. Okay? About the Hebrews, the slaves that were sold. All right? Now they say the Igbos or the Hebos from, again, they're going to say Nigeria. All right. Let's see. So this is what it's been changed to. Okay, this is what it's been changed to. But this is the original. To be sold on board the ship. Can't necessarily see the name. They say Bant's Land on Tuesday, the 6th of May, next at, what's this? Ashley Ferry. A choice cargo of about 250 fine, healthy, fine Hebrews. All right. Just arrived from the Windward and Rice Coast. It's hard to read, but you can read the rest from here. Right? There you go. So it says, I've seen the second Hebrews post everywhere, and I just thought I should point out that it's fake. Sure. The Hebrew Israelites have tried to use this supposed Igbo Jew link to legitimize the Hebrews out of Africa belief. One of them has gone as far as doctoring historical documents that emphasize the Hebrew. One of the recorded versions of Igbo during the slave trade actually comes from Hebrew. Many diffusionists have tried to make Igbo Hebrew before. The first image, which is the original via NYPL, actually comes from an advertisement for the arrival of enslaved people to be sold coming from the Windward and Rice Coast, which is around Sierra Leone and Ivory Coast in West Africa today. Again, mind you, he had Jake over in West Africa. It says, apparently, the person who doctored the document didn't know that enslaved Igbo people didn't come from the Windward and Rice Coast, which is not a great surprise. So, wait, I thought you said the first one was real, and it talks about the Windward and Rice Coast here. So you're inconsistent. So we're just supposed to believe you? All right. Cool. Guess we will. All right. Let's go and look at this one. What's this say?
But then the question is, how do we know they're Hebrew slaves? Were the Israelites ever there? Because no one would deny, okay, Egyptians had slaves and they built store cities. Great. But what makes this the Hebrews? Well, there's some evidence to that. Like in the Brooklyn Museum, there's an ancient papyrus that came from Egypt, and it's actually a slave registry where an owner who had bought and owned slaves is recording the names of his slaves. And when you go through this list, there's 77 names listed that he owned. 48 of them are Semitic, meaning they came from that region of Canaan or Israel, and their names are Semitic, which suggests, okay, the slaves are not African in origin. They're coming from Syro-Palestine, which fits the Bible. It's Semitic. But then the question is, how do we know they're Hebrew slaves?
Well, of course they're going to have all that. Again, white man talking to a white man, right? Let's see if anybody commented on it. It says there's no evidence that the Israelites were ever enslaved in mass in Egypt. All right, so they're saying there's no evidence even in the Bible that again, they're trying to disprove the Bible. All right, so, but you can go. Let's see if this one mentions Hebrews. Like I said, they do their best to try to cover it up as good as possible, right? Because again, it goes against their narrative, okay? It goes against their narrative. But time and time again, you look into history and you see all the original paintings were all melanated people, and now they're not melanated individuals, okay? And you go in to look at the Moors and all, like, there's just so much. Look, there's just a lot, all right? There's a lot. We can't prove everything in one lesson, but that's what happens when you keep on listening to Esau, all right? And especially now with AI and all these different things, they can just say, oh, no, that's AI, or oh, no, that's not real, that's AI generated, or that photo's fake, or oh, that's been photoshopped, any of those different types of things, and that's how they cover up history, all right? We can go and get, let's get, First Maccabees 3:48, it says, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. All right, and that's one of the biggest things that happened with the Crusades. And mind you, the Crusades were done by Edomites, all right, in the name of, Jesus. And even before Jesus, it was done in the name of Serapis Christos, all right. And their goal was iconoclasm. That was one of the big things that happened during, you can go and look that up. You can go and look up, is it true that one of the biggest things that happened during the Crusades was iconoclasm? I should say yes. It might lie and say no. Yeah, see, it says, no, iconoclasm was not one of the main things of the Crusades, but it did happen. All right, it wasn't one of the main things. All right, it was mostly military campaigns aimed at controlling territory. All right, again, they wanted they wanted Jerusalem. They wanted that land. They've been wanting that land for a long time. But anyway, like I said, I can't break down everything in one video.
And then if you really want to help the people, why are you using your slave master's Bible? We're not Ethiopian. Ethiopians adopted Christianity and...
Well, why are you saying that we're not Ethiopian? Are you under the idea that the Bible's Ethiopian? Because that's wrong, all right? Because the Bible is written for Israelites. All over it talks about Israel, 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 Israel. Yet I choose Israel. Israel, Israel, Israel. All right, but you again, in another part, you said something about the Bible and is a Ethiopian thing, and it's not. All right, if you look up... There should be a scripture. Let's see. We can look into that as well. Yeah, right here. This is Zephaniah 2 and 12 through 14. It says, Ye Ethiopians also, ye shall be slain by my sword. And he will stretch out his hand against the north and destroy Assyria, and will make Nineveh a desolation and dry like a wilderness. That's up until 13. So, no. Absolutely not. Let's see. You can see it's talking, it says, we can get verse 1, Isaiah 43 and 1. It says, But now, thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee after my name. Thou art mine. Jumping down to verse 3, it says, For I am the Lord thy power, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for thee. Why? Since thou wast precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable, and I have loved thee. Therefore I will give men for thee and people for thy life. It's not for the Ethiopian. It's for the Israelites. Everywhere you go, it talks about the Israelites, the Israelites, the Israelites, but you don't get it. All right? All you know how to do is lick twat. All right? Fucking it's butch. The butch-ass stud.
They got one of the oldest texts that were written. And they got to read the Ethiopian Bible. You didn't read the Ethiopian Bible, so why are you trying to defend?
We're not Ethiopian. Why would we read the Ethiopian Bible? We're not Ethiopian. All right? And Esau says anything's the oldest. They say the Dead Sea Scrolls are older than anything ever, and the Emerald Tablets. And they say the Earth is, 4.3 billion years old. That's bullshit. All right? If you listen to Esau, man, you'd be doing what you're doing. All right? Being a lesbian. That's what you would be doing if you listen to Esau.
And a Bible, a Negro Bible that's written about slaves.
Yeah, because the curses are in Deuteronomy. All right? All right? And Esau, it's a white man. It's not the white man's book. Why would the white man prophesy against himself? Okay? Why would... Here. Here's a couple things to cut you. Okay, this is, you can see select parts of the Holy Bible for the use of the Negro slaves in the British West India Islands. Okay, also shortly known as the Slave Bible, is an abbreviated version of the Bible specifically made for teaching a pro-slavery version of Christianity to enslaved people in the British West Indies. Over 90% of the Old Testament and over 50% of the New Testament were removed from the Bible. Why? Why? Because there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that they just can't have. If it was written by the white man for the slaves, they wouldn't have had to remove anything. They would have kept it all in there. They had to remove literally like 95% of the Bible, all right, just to be able to use it. Okay, that's where they get plantation Christianity. You don't know the rest of the Bible. What about this? This doesn't look good against Esau. Micah 2 and 2. It says, And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Who's the one who covets fields and takes them by violence? Who's the one who has colonized more land than any other nation? Should say the British. Or the British Empire. Edomites. So why would they have a Bible and then do that? Or why would they have scriptures about who leads into captivity shall go into captivity? They removed that, mind you. They removed that. Okay. What else? Among the excluded passages are Galatians 3 and 28, which states, There is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male nor female, for you're all one in Hamashiach Yahushai. It says Exodus 21 and 16 were also removed. All right. All right. Which says Exodus 21 and 16, And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. What shows you They knew. They knew if they removed it, they knew. So why would this be in there if it's a pro-slavery book? Okay, it's pro-slavery towards Esau. All right, all the scriptures you're thinking about slavery, all right, probably in the end that we were reading about, it's talking about Esau going into captivity. Again, you don't know it. All right, you're too busy muff diving.
I'm not no Hebrew Israelite, none of that shit. I have protested with the Black Panther multiple times in Vegas, the Las Vegas Panthers. I protested multiple times. I have a hot dog stand, me and my fiance on a hot dog stand, and sometimes I feed the homeless here on Main Street in Las Vegas. I'll be.
Oh, so you're in Vegas? Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even know you're here. I didn't even know you were here. That's crazy. I live in Vegas too. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some motherfucking shit? All right. I've never seen no hot dog stand, but all right. I've never once seen a hot dog stand here, but okay.
Selling hot dogs, and if I'm just sitting there, I'll just start giving out my hot dogs for free.
Look at that, man. Well, round of applause, everyone. She's doing so much to serve the Lord. She's giving out free hot dogs, okay? And she's protesting with the Black Panthers. What the Black Panthers gonna do? All right, the Black Panthers were infiltrated, man. All right, and the original Black Panther movement, they died out. All right, and wouldn't you consider the original Black Panther? Wouldn't you consider them a hate group? Wouldn't they make the black community look bad? Look, we're not interested in making the black community or the Hispanic community or the Native American community look good. All right, we're worried about the Hebrew Israelite community. All right, black means void of light. All right, which you are. You are a void of light.
And if I had the ability to create a clinic, I would. Y'all got the ability to just bring things back to the community. Well, why are y'all out here preaching hate? I don't get the Hebrew Israelites. You guys aren't doing anything productive. And then you wearing an ankh on your chains, but you don't even.
Ain't nobody wearing an ankh. What are you talking about? Who's wearing an ankh? Please let me. I haven't even seen the bug out camps wearing an ankh, I don't think. Please let me see.
Believe and practice Kemian. The Holy Bible comes from the Book of the Dead. Like, I just started reading
No,
the
it
Book
don't.
of the Dead. I'm like, yo, they stole all this shit. Like, it's crazy. It blows my mind. I am not a Hebrew Israelite. I am anti-hate. I don't give a fuck. I'm pro-black. I will preach, protect the black woman.
If you're, see, protect the black woman. There you go. That's all you need to know. All right. And she's just bugged out. Just bugged out. All right. Just bugged out. All right. Let's see. And there's this video, and she's this whole thing. Look.
Watch out for a man that says if you have to yell your answers out, then you're probably wrong because he never had a father. He never had a mother yell at him. He's never been corrected when he was wrong. I just got this argument about Judah, king of kings, being Ethiopian. And this man said, well, if you have to yell and answer out, then you're probably wrong. No, you fucking idiot, fucking stupid, fuck. Just because you...
The king of kings is Judah. What are you talking about? The Lord's king of kings. It's not Judah. Are you thinking... Who is the king of kings? Huh. Why doesn't it say Judah? Pretty clearly, it's Yahushua Mashiach. Alright? Where are you getting the fact that it's Judah? He was Ethiopian. He is not from what? The king of kings is Judah. He was Ethiopian. He is not from Palestine. What are you talking about?
Judah is doesn't mean I'm fucking wrong. This is why I'm yelling at you. You would have failed fucking school. You would have failed everything. You wouldn't have even led a revolution, bitch. Your ass would stay on a motherfucking plantation. I guarantee it. You fucking idiot. You waste of the fucking community. If you don't want to be black.
Losing her mind. Losing her mind. The Bible is an Ethiopian book. And this guy, he came back. He said false. And the Bible says the Ethiopian shall be slain by my sword. She said, Ethiopia was never touched. And he said, just because it ain't happened don't mean it's not going to. What do you even believe in? LGBTQ or God? I like that. I'ma like it. You don't even know what you believe. Fucking dummy. Fucking dummy. Look. This is ridiculous. Look. says, end of the year Kentucky confession. I slept with 3 men before I became a touch me not lesbian. So she's ran through. All right. She's ran through. And there's another one where she said she slept with like 30 something people. Where was it? Let me try to find it. Right here. We love differently. I slept with 35 people. Sex is not enough to keep me. I'm sorry.
For you, I give a lifetime of stability. Anything you want of me.
There you go. Just a hoe. A hoe. And that's probably 35, well, minus 3 gay sexual encounters. Lord's gonna kill this lady. Okay? So, you see it. It's just, she's confused. She don't know really what's going on at the end of the day. Right? But, you know, what can you do? But she wants us to go and make a hot dog stand, apparently, like she's doing, and give out free stuff to the homeless, because that would really be glorifying the Lord. I mean, you should, all right, you should help the homeless if you can, you know, help the poor, all right, but that's not what's going to get you saved, is because you had a hot dog stand, okay? That's not how it works, okay? And at the end of the day, you're a stud, man, so the Lord's not dealing with you. I don't even know why you're worried about the Lord. You're a stud. He's not dealing with you. So Hebrews 13 and 14, it says, for we, let's go and get, no, we can get it right here. Hebrews 13 and 14, it says, for here have we no continuing city, but we seek one to come. We just got this the other day. We don't have anything here. There's no reason building this place up. All right, let's get this one. This is Matthew 6 and 19. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourself treasure in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. If you're too busy setting on building a fucking clinic, all right, then guess what? Your heart's setting on the clinic, not on Yahweh Shem Shai. It's set on the clinic. Stupid, man. You don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. And like I said, I got a couple more of these that I got. I might, you know, do a couple more. I don't want to, steal the brother's vibe. I know the Elder Manat Zakba. He's been doing a lot of the videos, TikTok and bug outs. I don't necessarily want to jock his style. So, you know, so we'll see. But yeah, man, I got like 2 more videos that Lord willing may or may not get to, depending, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. But this shit was ridiculous. This shit was ridiculous. All right, absolutely ridiculous. And you can see, when people think violence makes unity, we're not trying to be unified. That's the problem. You're saying, oh, unity. We're being unified with us, all right? With Yahweh Shem Shai. We're not looking for unity with everybody else, all right? So it says, they steal from the community and use women as children factories. Honestly, the people done my family wrong, and my auntie cries every day. Good for you. Disc corpse. Hey, at least you got a correct name. You are a corpse, all right? Just bugged out. They hate everyone who's not on their time, all right? All these people, man, I literally cannot stand them. All right, let's look at you, Caribbean honey. Look at you. I'm a loving mother, a friend, a thinker, planner, strategist. I'm a career-driven WMATA bus operator. I'm a home chef. I'm a college graduate. I'm a senior in baccalaureate or whatever program. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm a floral home gardener. I'm a volunteer. I've overcome again and again. You know what I don't see? That you're a wife. Okay? I don't see that. So that means you're probably alone as hell. Alright? That means you're probably alone as hell. Alright? And you look older. And you look older. Okay? So there you go. What else do we got? White boy Nappy Roots says, as a Christian, I agree with you. How are the Hebrews and Moors? The Moors are Egyptians who enslaved Hebrews. According to Esau's history. Alright? It says, what? You're just as ignorant. Moor means black. That's all. Yes. there are more Hebrews in Ethiopia, West Africa, and South Africa, and it's true. And that's what I was trying to find earlier. If you look up Moor, what does Moorish mean? All right, it just means dark-skinned. Okay, it says relating to the character of the Moors. All right, Moors meaning people. Well, you should look at it there originally. If you, right here, National Geographic. The term came to mean anyone who was Muslim or had dark skin. Occasionally, Europeans would distinguish between blackamoors and white Moors. Okay, there you go, and that's from National Geographic. So, yeah, some were Muslim. All right, some were Ethiopian, some were this, some were that, right? It said right here, Moors are not a single, distinct, or set defined people. Europeans of the Middle Ages and the early modern period variously applied the name to Arabs, Berbers, Muslim Europeans, and black peoples. There you go, right on the page of black people. There you go. So, there you go. All right, it's not just dealing with just, oh, they were just Muslims. No, they weren't. All right, it says, what, you're just as ignorant. More means black, that's all. Yes, there were more Hebrews in Ethiopia, West Africa, and South Africa. It says, no, it doesn't. It's a historical group of people. You're wrong. Okay, it says an Ethiopian black means more, was originally used by Latins to describe Moroccans. And, you know, again, are you going to argue with National Geographic? All right, I thought you liked Esau's history. Now you don't, because it doesn't fit your narrative. Man, these people are dumb. All right, y'all don't understand anything. And again, this is more for, you know, for you to be a spectacle, so the brothers and sisters have some edification to watch and be edified to the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Shai. Not for you to see it and convert, because you're not. All right, you're not, because you're bugged out. All right, you're gone. All right, you're gone. And, you know, you might be a Jake, you might not be a Jake. You know, don't really know at the end of the day. Who knows? All right, you're kind of ambiguous looking, and it's not really about how you look. You know, you look like you could be mixed. All right, now it says Mawu and Flanders Black Power Cooperative. You know, which one of your which one of your parents is white? All right, or which one of your parents is African or Hawaiian or something? All right, there got to be something. There got to be something. Okay, got to be something. So that's what we're gonna close out with. I don't know how long we went. Probably about 40 minutes. 53 minutes. All right. So there you go. That's that. There you go. So that's where we're gonna close out. Lord one was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakak. Shalom, brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring. Keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing. Shalom.